Hey everyone, and welcome back to Lumberjack Flashback. I'm Stacey Nisobe, and today I'm joined by Haley Wingender, former all-conference soccer player here at NAU and Big Sky Tournament MVP in 2014. Haley, thanks for joining us, and how are you handling everything?
It's going well, keeping myself busy, trying to stay doing things that I enjoy and slowly make my way back into my regular routine.
Definitely. And before we take a trip down memory lane, where are you currently, and what have you been up to since graduating from NAU?
So since graduating, I got a job as a ER medical scribe. So I've been working in the ER for the last 3.5 years. I'm currently in Las Vegas, planning to attend medical school and planning my wedding with Chris Yonku, former basketball player at NAU. So that's been fun and just kind of doing that.
And just a little bit of a teaser for all of our Lumberjack fans, you will probably see Chris down the road in yet another Lumberjack flashback later this summer. So great to hear that everything's well, and best of luck, of course, with the wedding.
Thank you.
Of course. So Haley, today we're going to talk about NAU Soccer's 2014 Big Sky Championship season. Before we get started, what's the first word that comes to your mind when you think back to that championship team?
Grit. I think that's the best word to describe our team at that moment, was just fighting through adversity no matter what the cost. And we all just had one goal, and it was to win a championship, and we were going to take care of that no matter what we had to do.
Yeah, and grit is a perfect lead into kind of what I wanted to kind of focus on this season, or looking back at that 2014 season. The championship didn't come easy for you guys that season. You guys were actually tied for sixth with 2 games left, just barely clinging on to even a chance for to be in the conference tournament. So you guys won 5 in a row to end the season, of course, winning the championship. What do you remember about that stretch run toward the ending of that 2014 season?
I think going into it, we kind of had a chip on our shoulder. We knew we were a great team, but we were just waiting for our chance to showcase that. And I think going into the conference championship and, the games leading up to it, we had lost to both teams that we were going up against. So that was just kind of the motivation we needed, because this was our redemption. And what better place to do it than the conference championship?
For sure. And as I mentioned, you guys won 5 in a row to win that championship. The first of those 5 wins was a game out on the road in Pocatello. It was a 2-1 win, senior day for the Bengals. And it's a place that NAU hadn't won since 2005. So almost going back a decade since the last win in Pocatello. It was a win. What do you remember about that game, about playing in Pocatello? I know Idaho State was a big rival for you all during your time here at NAU.
Yes, it was definitely one of our rivals. I mean, I think before I even went to NAU, that was one of their big rivals, was Idaho State. And I know playing in Pocatello, those girls had that field down. It's nothing like the field we have back in Flagstaff, which is an amazing big field. In Idaho, that field is totally different. It's small, the grass is thick. I just remember we really prepared before going there for what the game was going to be. It was going to be a really challenging game, just because our skill was kind of moving the ball, playing with the space, and we weren't going to have that space. So I know Coach Andre was just really big on, you guys, you need to be aggressive. You need to be, use your bodies to hold the ball, get forward. We need to score goals. And I know that game, it was kind of more about defense for us, because they had an all-star player that year. I remember the year before that, I think, got the golden boot. Like, she was a really big-time senior for them. So for us, it was more about how do we stop her so that we can move forward. And I know when we won that game, it was probably the best feeling, because for us, that was like a mini championship. It was like, we finally beat them, time to go and win the whole thing.
For sure. And I remember my time as a soccer SID here, having talked to Coach Luciano about the field there in Pocatello and how it was smaller. It was a smaller dimension field, especially, as you mentioned, compared to Lumberjack Stadium. So thanks for touching on a lot of those comparisons and the differences to playing up there. Of course, you guys, after you won that game, you come home. It's senior day for you all. Yeah, you beat Southern Utah 1-0. So you end up clinching the third seed in the tournament. How much confidence did the team have going into the conference tournament in Missoula the following week?
I think we had confidence, but for us, we were really not disappointed, but we really wanted to have that bye week or that bye game.
Right.
You know, having to play 3 games in the matter of 4 days is difficult, especially in this conference where it's such a high impact, you know, competitive game, and it's a lot of body to body contact. So I think for us, we were more just take it one game at a time. You know, first up we played Eastern Washington and we had lost to them. So I think we were confident in the way we were going. We were on an uphill, you know, climb, but I think we had confidence in our seniors and our whole team, and we knew we had a good bench to come up and help us. So we took it each game at a time, and I think we got our confidence really, you know, once we beat Idaho State.
Right. And that, you know, you alluded to Eastern Washington was your first matchup there in the tournament. You guys beat them, I believe, 3-2. Then you faced Portland State, another you know, traditional contender for the Big Sky Championship. You guys get past the Vikings, and then, of course, as it would play out, you guys face Idaho State in the championship game. You actually scored what wound up being the game-winning goal there in the 69th minute. It was a breakaway goal. I think you got the feed from Sierra Gamble. Yep. What do you remember about that particular goal?
Honestly, I can remember it like yesterday. It's, you know, we had the lead 1-0, and I remember, you know, for us, obviously this team wants to beat us more than anything. You know, right. We beat them, so they had the same chip on their shoulder that we had going against right. Eastern Washington. So we knew that we were going to have to play so much harder. So I think that 1-0 lead just kind of made us all a little uneasy. You know, it's not good enough. So I do remember that we were kind of at midfield, and Sierra had the ball, and somehow she, you know, just threaded it right through 2 defenders while I was on a run. And then I, you know, got the ball, started going towards goal. And I remember when I hit the ball, it went through the goalie's legs. And, you know, I was kind of shocked because it was raining, it was kind of snowy. So it took a weird bounce and went right through her legs. And I just, you know, remember looking at Sierra and I was like, oh my gosh, we just scored another goal.
Absolutely. And I should add in, you know, that was your 7th game-winning goal that season. That set a Big Sky record. Did you know that was a Big Sky record?
I did. I didn't know at the time, but later on they ended up saying that, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know. So it's kind of a, you know, lucky for me that we ended up getting a, you know, 2-goal lead.
Yeah. 7th game-winning goal proved to be the most important in the season. You guys win the championship, and you know, you talked about grit earlier in the interview. You guys played essentially 5 must-win games in a row to hoist the trophy. Playing with your backs against the wall, essentially, and to come out with the championship. Just comment a little bit further about how that defined that team that year.
I think that team was the definition of, you know, just working hard, because I think we had it so ingrained in us that, you know, hard work beats talent. When talent doesn't work hard, you know, you have to do the work. And there's a lot of talented girls in that conference. But as a whole, that team was just more determined to be the hardest working team. And I think because of that mentality, we were able to push forward and accomplish the things we wanted to. And I think it did really stem from our team captains that year. They just had a great mentality of, you know, doing the work, getting things done, and then celebrating once we accomplished what we wanted to. And just, I remember in the championship too, you know, we had 5 girls that had food poisoning that ended up starting and playing for us, including one of our captains. So it just goes to show that the grit was there, and we wanted to do anything to get that championship.
I actually didn't know about the food poisoning myself, so that's a great anecdote, and really just goes to show, you know, that grit, that heart of a champion, really, to do anything for the team and come out on top, and, you know, winning the championship. And then you guys went to the NCAA tournament, played ASU that year. That's what every college student athlete dreams about, you know, winning a championship, going to the big dance. And look, almost 6 years ago now, you look back at that season. How do you remember it as a whole?
I mean, it's some of the best memories of my life. I mean, I got to win not only a championship, an MVP award, but with my best friends. These
Right.
girls are people that we went through everything together, all the losses, the injuries, the summers doing weights and then training and then conditioning and just getting really worked. And we went through all that together. So to me, that whole just memory is all good things, all the losses and things we had to go through just made it so much more meaningful when we actually won.
Mhm. You finished that up. That was actually your junior year, 2014. You came back and scored 12 goals as a senior the following year, and finished your career as really one of the most prolific goal scorers here at NAU. Just kind of talk about your career as a whole, and how much of fun it was, for lack of better words, or your 4 years here in Flagstaff.
Yeah, so I went in, kind of not knowing what to expect. I was, a goal scorer on my high school team and then also in club. But, when you get into college, girls are now women, they are adults, they are bigger, stronger, faster. So I kind of didn't know what the difference was going to be. And then once I got there, I realized, okay, this is going to be a different game than what I'm used to. So I'm going to have to work harder, get stronger, get fitter. And so I started doing that. And then my freshman year, when I broke my leg, I remember getting back to where I was, physically difficult, but very mentally difficult, because going from, starting my freshman year to learning how to walk again, it
Right.
gives you a different perspective. So it kind of made me get this mentality of don't take anything for granted. The conditioning, yeah, it's hard, but you're lucky that you can run.
Mhm.
I missed those days. I never thought I would say that, but I was, missing running with my teammates and doing our fitness tests. But then after that, I think it just gave me, more of a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove myself, get back to my starting
Mhm.
position, and then be that threat that I always knew I could be and that I was in high school. So I wanted to bring that back. And then my junior year, that's when we won our championship. And that's when I felt like I really got back into my rhythm of scoring goals, assists, all of that teamwork that needs to be, done to get a championship.
Mhm.
And then my senior year, obviously, it's always hard coming off a championship season.
Right.
You got the target on your back.
Right.
And I think for us, we had a strong senior class. Me, Sierra, we always, had this kind of assist goal combination going for junior year and then senior year. So I think I was able to be so successful because I had a really great group of girls alongside of me, pushing me and also, giving me these opportunities to score. I was lucky that I played with such, great midfielders and forwards
Right.
that could give me that ball to do what I can do. So, it was the best years of my life. And looking back on it, I think, there's only good memories. They outweigh all of the fitness tests and 6 a.m. weights that we had to do. So it was, I loved every minute of it, and I miss it. I do. I miss the competitiveness. I miss the thrill of playing in front of, our fans and just being on a team and competing. I love that.
For sure. Have you been able to make it back to Flagstaff, maybe catch a couple of games since you've graduated?
Yeah, we went back, I think the year after I graduated and then the next year. So we got to see some of our younger girls on their
Yeah,
senior night or play against, some of the big rivals we had. And
sure.
it was really great. I mean, the stadium's beautiful. I was so lucky that I got to play in there all 4 years. But, I think a lot of the new girls don't understand how important that stadium is because they never saw what it was before. So
Mhm.
it's nice to go back and kind of talk to them and let them know, hey, this wasn't always how it was. So, be thankful.
I definitely remember the old Lumberjack Stadium myself, so just goes to show how long I've been here as well. So, Wingender, one of the all-time greats here at NAU with NAU Soccer. Thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully, you had as much fun as I did.
I did. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we'll continue to stay well, and best wishes.
Thank you.